My name is Alex Caserta. I recently retired from a 34-year career as a visual arts instructor in order to embark on a new adventure. As a photographer, my goal is to reveal historical information while shedding new light on the people and places that sustain our rich cultural heritage. This is an opportunity for us to discover the farms, food, and flavors of our beautiful state. This is a time for us to explore the diverse wonders in our own backyard.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island.
We are now in the bungalow at Sunset Farm.
Kinney Bungalow.
Kinney Bungalow, and I am here with Shirley Eastham. And your position in the town?
I'm the president of the Narragansett Historical Society and previously was the event coordinator at Kinney Bungalow. This is one of our lovely favorite buildings.
It's a beautiful building.
It's very natural, lovely setting for weddings, parties.
This is a different setting altogether. Do you think that attracts people?
Of course, it is the charm of the place. We've had people from Ireland or who've taken trips to Ireland who say, this just reminds me of Ireland and I want my wedding here. So definitely the farm setting is gorgeous and we love it.
And can you tell me who originally built this?
Francis Kinney, wealthy tobacco manufacturer, reportedly had a little tiff with the Point Judith Country Club, bought the farm right across from the 18th hole, built his party house here, had a farm caretaker, and that went on until he died in 1908. The Chase family from Waterbury, Connecticut bought it. The middle daughter was Lucia Chase. She was one of the founding members of the American Ballet Theater. American Ballet Theater is the preeminent ballet theater in the United States now, thanks, I think, in large part to Lucia.
Oh.
So that's a glorious part of the past here. And for many years, this was a scene of ballet rehearsals, ballet classes, or just Lucia dancing around the halls.
Now I heard that Jackie and...
I've heard that too. The Bouviers had a place on Central Street, and we have not documented, but it's well talked about that she visited frequently, that she rode horses, came over here. There's one story that the farm caretaker at the time spanked her. Yeah. I mean, we have no way of knowing that for sure, but we hear it. And we believe it.
Yeah, very interesting story.
It's a good story.
Well, thank you very much for coming today.
You're welcome. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We're still in the bungalow, and I'm here with Chris Wilkins. And Chris, you have a lot of information to provide about the town of Narragansett. And Narragansett plays a large role in this particular farm.
Yes.
And how does that work?
Yeah, well, the people of Narragansett actually own this farm. It started off with about 150 acres originally from 1991. And then it's been growing since then. Now we're up to about 200 acres of public access land right here in the southern end of Narragansett. When the town acquired this land, one of the premises that we use is that it be very accessible to the taxpayers. So we have the farm here, and actually the people can farm themselves. They rent a little plot over here. They have the cattle, they have the vegetables. They can rent here for their weddings, for their parties. And in the back, we're building a new trail system for cross-country skiing or just basic hiking.
And you also mentioned something about the high school in Narragansett putting an addition on for ag program.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, we just broke ground on a $1 million addition over at the high school. It's a new agricultural science wing, and it'll be comprised of greenhouses and lecture halls, and we're working that there's a future farmer core that's very strong in the high school. And you notice probably that there's a lot of farming going on, especially in South County.
Yes.
And they're actually being taught there the art, the science, and the business of farming over in that wing over there. And we're going to be using them to help us out over here more and more over time, so they could go really into the practical world of farming.
Yeah, they'll be like interns working on a real farm.
Yes, yes.
So get real life experience.
Really.
That is just so fabulous.
It's a fabulous concept. They've been working on that in the school department for years, and now the button's been pushed, and the building's being built.
Well, that's fantastic. Thanks very much.
You're more than welcome.
We're still at Sunset Farm down in Narragansett. I am with Jill Lawler and Steve Wright. You wouldn't be here today unless you thought this was really important in terms of a piece of property. And it's the only farm that's left in Narragansett?
Only working farm left in Narragansett,
Working
yes.
farm.
Yes, and actually the town of Narragansett Land Trust, the part that I'm on, one of the things that we want to do is preserve as much open space as possible.
And what kind of relationship do you think is going to come up in the future in terms of the bungalow here and the farm?
Well, we're hoping to work with Jeff and his son Ethan and his wife over the next few years with more farm-to-table events. Obviously, the Kinney Bungalow is an event venue, and we want to be able to do more farm-to-table events in the next few years. And
Yeah.
you can't pick a better location. We're right here on 108. We get a lot of beach traffic. A lot of folks are in town know about Sunset Farms. They're here every day for the farm stand. So I think it's a win-win for us and for Jeff in the town.
I think it's going to be a great future for the farm and the bungalow, and the fact that the town also is making a commitment by adding on to the high school and doing this ag program and bringing the students here in the future to work on the farm.
Yeah, we just did that about a couple of years ago. We had a
That's right.
community garden here, and then the Land Trust voted to take the community garden and to give it to the education department at Narragansett High School. And the future farmers are so excited about it, and Jeff's really excited as well because he can share his knowledge and Ethan's knowledge with the students. It was a great opportunity for the town.
And I think if we start using places like this to do more farm to table and have the relationship that you have here between the farmer and the town, it's such a great relationship. Hopefully other towns and cities might be able to do the same type of thing.
No doubt about it. And we're excited about it, and we look forward to success over the next year or two.
I want to thank the both of you for coming down here today and talking with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Pleasure.
Thank you. So we're here at Sunset Farm in Narragansett. I am with Jeff Farrell. And Jeff, you're the main man here, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, my wife, my son, and I, we all run it together in conjunction with each other. We all have a job to do.
And you've been here how many years running the farm?
17.
17 years.
Yep.
And you have a new contract for another
25 years.
25 years.
Yep.
That's terrific.
Yep.
Your history in farming goes way back in the family, all the way back to the Revolutionary times?
Yes. Yep.
It's quite a distance.
Yes. Yep.
Your son, of course, will be the next generation.
Yep.
Keeping this place going. Now, you do a lot here. How many acres do you have for the vegetables?
Oh, vegetables around 8.
8 acres?
Yep. 45 acres of silage corn.
A lot of corn.
Yep.
And do you use that corn yourself or do you sell it?
We sell sweet corn, and we use the other corn to feed the cows, the beef cows.
Okay, how many beef cows do you have?
Oh, approximately 120.
120.
Yeah.
And I noticed that you also have a on-location farm stand
Yep.
where you sell vegetables.
Yeah, we sell all our homegrown vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, eggplant, squash, everything. Green beans, sweet potatoes.
And I noticed that you also have beefsteak available.
Oh yeah, yep. We have all our own black Angus, all natural beef.
And it seems like from the time we've spent here this morning, I've seen a lot of people driving in for your products.
Oh yeah, yep. We get the locals coming down to the beach, and they come in and they buy steaks and hamburger and vegetables. And we also supply some restaurants in town.
And do you do any restaurants as far as Providence or anything like that, or is it just mostly?
Yeah.
Oh, you do.
All in Rhode Island, yep.
All in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And do you deliver to them?
Yes, we do.
Over the years that you've been here, I hear you've restored the barn.
Oh yeah, when we moved in, the barn is in tough shape, really bad shape. Basically 8 feet from the ground up all the way around the barn is brand spanking new. All new concrete footings, foundation, new floors, everything.
I noticed that you also sell wood here.
Oh yeah, we recycle, we save all the pine that we gather from doing tree work. I do tree work on the side
Okay.
in my landscaping business, and other tree companies bring me the pine. and we use it to cut it up and make firewood for the campground down the street. So nothing goes to waste. We even take the wood chips and we bed the cows down with them around the feed areas, and then we stockpile that, compost it up to put it back into the garden to enrich the soil.
How do you feel about preserving this land and you being part of working with the town, having a relationship with the town to keep this sustainable as a working farm?
Oh, I feel great about it. I mean, we have a good relationship. We work well together. We're all on the same page. You know, pretty much it's going smooth.
And they would tell me this is the only farmland that's
Only working farm in
working
Narragansett.
farm in
real
Narragansett.
farm.
It's hard to believe with all the land out here.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's private. You know, the government, Federal Fish and Wildlife owns it, and it's really, there's not a lot of tillable land. That was eaten up back in the building boom. You know, back in the 70s and the 80s. A lot of that land, and if you look at a lot of the names of places around here, Briggs Farm was a farm. You know, all these big plots over the last 30, 40 years were all farms that were developed.
You were excited about the students from the high school?
Oh yeah, that's a great thing. And seeing the kids come in the FFA and working, it really it gives me a lot of hope for them.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thanks for letting us come here today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with Ethan at Sunset Farm. Ethan, you're the next generation of this farm, and you've just got a brand new 25-year lease.
Yeah.
But you weren't always on the farm. You went to school.
I went to Johnson & Wales for business marketing. I had a degree there, and I wrestled in college as well.
Okay.
That's a big part of why I went to Providence to wrestle in college.
Oh, all right. So being the next generation, Ethan, do you have specific plans for the farm, things that maybe you would like to try in the future?
With the beef, I want to keep perfecting the beef, keep making it better. The quality of our meat every year has taken leaps and bounds. People rave about it. We're in over 40 restaurants between the produce and meats in the summertime.
Your farm to table on the go truck, what kind of food do you serve from there?
We do the burgers that are right from the farm. Black Angus burgers. We do quarter-pound burgers and half-pound burgers. We do sausage and peppers. Pretty much whatever I have surplus of at the time. We do some brisket sliders, short rib sliders. We do. Right now, we just did squash flowers. We stuffed them with goat cheese and pan-seared them with some fresh herbs from
and
the
you
farm.
do that on the truck?
We do that right on the truck.
That's incredible.
It's kind of it's something that people weren't expecting. But
No.
They sold like crazy. So.
Oh, they must be delicious.
Then we do the heirloom tomato salads in the summertime, which we're getting ready to do now as the heirlooms start coming in. Hand-cut fries. We try to keep everything as locally sourced as we can, and it helps the farm cut down on waste. So instead of throwing away a heirloom tomato with a bad spot in it, we're chunking it and we're able to use it on the truck.
Yes, more sustainable.
More
too.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That's terrific.
The word I was looking for.
Yeah. They've got quite an operation here. I can't believe the number of people that have been driving in all morning.
Yeah, we get probably between 400 to 500 people on weekends per day.
Wow.
Yep. So we run the food truck here when it's not at events. And we get a lot of traffic from the restaurants. Like I said before, I started the wholesale when I was 19 with 3 or 4 accounts. And everyone a lot of the chefs and say, you're too kid, not here, you're too expensive. And it's crazy to see how full circle the farm to table has come.
Yes.
To where those same chefs now are calling me asking for products. And I say, I'll see if I have extra. You didn't want to talk to me when I was 19.
Yeah, if you want good products,
Yep.
and if you want something that's different,
Yep.
then you have to go straight to the farmers.
I had a chef tell me one time, I'm waiting for the farm to table fad to play out. And I said to him, this isn't a fad. I said, this is a movement. This is people want to know more than ever
Oh yeah,
where the food is coming from and what's in it.
I think it's here to stay.
And their relationship with food is changing. I mean, you see people taking pictures of 10 years ago, you never saw people taking pictures of their plate.
That's all great news.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us here today, Ethan.
Of course, thanks for
Really
coming.
appreciate it. I'm here with Doreen Pezza, who is the owner of Pezza Farm.
One of the owners.
One of the owners,
One
you
of
and
the
your
owners,
husband,
yes,
right?
yes.
And you folks have been here since
47.
1947, and at the time it was what type of farm?
It was a dairy farm
Dairy farm. And then you purchased the farm with your husband
in the 70s.
in the 70s. And the farm used to be 100 acres?
It used to be 100 acres. It was a 100-acre dairy farm.
And then when they sold that,
When we bought it,
when you bought it,
it became 50 acres.
50 acres. And what are you growing here now?
Well, right now we have the greenhouses, and we grow a full variety of tomatoes and all sorts of field crops, and tomatoes and peppers and eggplant. Several kinds of tomatoes. We grow the San Mazzanos for the paste. And we grow a lot of cherry tomatoes and grape tomatoes, and then we have the herbs, and we have eggplant and squashes, zucchini and yellow squash, all the great things you find at farmers markets and that we sell at the farm stand here. We grow potatoes. We're putting those in tomorrow.
Okay. All right. What kind
Potatoes
of
grown
corn
tomorrow.
do you grow?
My husband likes, it's a super sweet corn, no GMOs or anything else, but it's a super sweet, and it's kind of a longer day corn. We don't probably get into corn until the end of July.
Oh, all right.
But it's a nice sweet corn. It's a full-size corn.
So when does that come up if you're putting
I think it's
it
called
in?
Candy Store, by the way.
Oh, Candy Store? Oh,
Yeah.
that's a new one on me.
Yeah, we plant corn every 7 days.
Oh,
So we harvest by the end of July. But by
okay.
that time, we have other corn that's ready.
all right.
We have like little guys, bigger guys, right on up.
And that will go right into what month?
It'll hopefully go right into maybe fulling September.
That's interesting.
We just have to battle the woodchucks
Oh,
because they like corn too.
okay. So you'll be doing cut flowers also?
We do cut flowers. Oh, and I forgot, we grow Swiss chard and kale and bok choy.
Oh, all right.
A full line, lettuces, full line of greens.
A lot of these plants that you're growing are probably tested over the years, like other farmers do,
Yep.
and the ones that you like, you continue growing, and the ones that you're not crazy about, you abandon those particular brands.
Yep, some varieties, what they say, run out. They can be wonderful varieties, and it's like people ask for the ox hot tomato, but that's gone. It isn't even it isn't worth growing anymore. It's just certain things like that just kind of run out unless they come up with a new strain of it.
I was asking about certain corns at a farm last week, and it was the corn that I was mentioning that I grew up with doesn't exist anymore.
No, they change them because the seed gets old, the seed gets tired, it just doesn't have the germination anymore.
Doreen, I'd like to get your opinion on how you feel about young people wanting to become farmers, and if you have any advice for them, if you think it's something that is definitely worth going into.
It's definitely worth going into. I mean, you go into it, I don't know if you have stars in your eyes, or I mean, you've got to want to do it. Farming is a way of life that you've got to love. And I think it's wonderful, and I think we need all the young farmers we can get. There's great programs out there for the young farmers, and great encouragement, and everyone's willing to help them out. And it's good to see young farmers coming on.
And, you know, I think there's a future for young farmers.
I think there is, especially as long as the people want to have the fresh produce, and as long as they want the what's out there to be offered on the produce level. But the young farmers have got to realize it is more than a full-time job. I mean, it's not a 40-hour-a-week job. It's every day, it's all day, and it's all the time. If you're going to make a living, it's what you do.
So it's something that you're definitely encouraged of somebody.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, but they have to love it and they have to want to do it. And I think it's well worth doing. It's a great way of life.
Yes,
and
it
it's a
is.
great way to bring up your kids, and I think it's great. I think it's wonderful.
Okay, that's great. Pezza Farm today in Johnston, Rhode Island, and I'm standing here with Shelley, third generation?
I am the third generation.
Third
yes.
generation, working the farm. Shelley, I'm going to have you tell me about the different types of things you do when it comes to field trips for students from the different schools, and maybe a little bit about the farmers markets. And you do a hayride, I think?
Yep, that's in the fall as well.
Yeah, okay.
So we go from season to season. We only close for 2 months, January and February. So we go from the greenhouses, where we have 12 greenhouses, into the, then we grow our own vegetables out in the fields, we plant them, and then that brings us to the farmers markets, where we do typically 5 to 6 farmers markets a week, where we grow all our own produce. It's a lot of work that goes into it, but unfortunately nowadays people don't come to farms as much as they used to, so we come to them. The farmers markets have made it very accessible and easy for customers to get their produce fresh. And then we go from the farmers markets and we start our field trips and birthday parties and gear up for like family activities in the end of September.
Do you have a lot of schools coming here?
We have quite a few. Usually I book up every year. I don't have any room, any availability. I turn people away, unfortunately, which I don't like doing in October, but unfortunately I can't do everything.
Oh, so they come out during like the pumpkin season?
They come out, usually they start towards the end of September, and they come and we do it right through until the mid-November. And they spend a half an hour with the animals, and then half an hour on the hayride and feeding the cows, and it's a fun time. I enjoy it. I've been doing it for 17 years.
Wow.
So, and the kids get a kick out of it, because so many kids don't feed a cow. Like, you can't understand and begin to comprehend how many kids have never touched a chicken or a cow or a goat, and the whole the idea of it.
So when you grew up and went to high school and that type of thing, did you work on the farm part-time?
I worked on the farm. I actually carried 3 jobs through high school. Then I went to college, still continued to carry 3 jobs. The farm was always one of them, because that paid for my insurance. And then I had 2 other jobs as well. But then when I went to college, got my degree, had no intention of staying on the farm. That was the very last thought of my mind, to be honest with you.
And what was your degree in?
Communications and public relations.
Yeah, okay.
So I got a job, lasted probably not even 6 months. Called my mom and said, "Mom, I can't do this anymore." And came back. And it's the best decision I ever made, to be honest with you.
I'm sure you enjoy working here.
Yeah, life's too short to be unhappy. You spend more time at work than anything else.
That's true.
And I love what I do. I love being with my family. I can't even.
Yeah, and you're still doing public relations with the schools.
Yeah, there you go.
And
so
communicating with people.
Yes.
Right? Now you take care of the greenhouses?
I do. I do all the seeding in, so I'm a seed propagational specialist.
Oh, okay.
Actually is the correct term, but it's nothing fancy. It's just seeding in the plants. it sounds a lot fancier than it is.
You had everybody going there for a minute.
I ruined it. But no, so I seed everything in, and then I transplant, and we all have play a different part, which is important, because we all have our own role. My brother and my father want really nothing to do with the retail end, which is probably the best thing for the retail end. Because they take care of the plants, the vegetables, and the growing part of it. But yeah, so so I do the seeding in, the transplanting, and all of that.
You also have a petting zoo in the back?
We have a petting zoo, different kinds of animals. Right now we have goats and chickens and baby chicks, and the turkeys will be coming down soon, and horses and cows. And the cows and horses come and go as they choose, because it's open up to the fields, and then we'll be getting sheep and pigs relatively soon as well.
So Shelley, you're third generation, and I know you have 2 children, a son and a daughter.
Yes.
Do you think they'll be the 4th generation?
My son definitely wants to be, although I remind him often that he needs a backup plan. I don't think it's right for him to fall into the business, because it's not, the business does not generate enough of an income to be able to maintain my parents, my brother, myself, and my son. And I want him to be able to have something else to fall back on, so he never feels like he was trapped. He loves the farm. He's passionate about it.
That's great.
Passionate about it, and he's only 15, so he has 2 more years of high school, but he wants to continue the farm. He makes that very clear. But he wants to get skills and training at the same time, so he wants to become a welder.
Oh,
for a period, which will definitely give him skills that will be important to him
definitely
to
on the
use
farm.
on the farm. Absolutely, and that's what he's doing. And my daughter wants to be an environmental lawyer, so she wants to be able to do the environmental lawyer part, and then also work on the farm.
If you had to pick something that would make Pezza Farm a little bit different from some of the other local farms that are very close by, is there anything in particular that you can think of?
When we get comments and feedback back, the most common response is our customers feel like they're family here. We treat them, because my mother and myself appreciate the business from customers. We know that there's a lot of competition, and one of us are always around, so we always have a plethora of information for customers, be it advice on tomato plants or advice on a tree, a disease, or something that's going on in their yard. Or sometimes our customers just want to come in and chit-chat about how the farm's doing. I think customers really, so not necessarily a bread and butter, but it's something that sets us apart is definitely the personal part of the business that people miss when you go into a big box store or you go into a big farm where they're all employees and the farmers aren't there. It's important to have that personal connection with your farmer, because we are the
It's very
farmers.
important, supporting the local farmer, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And, keeping the farm sustainable, which you've been doing for quite a number of years.
Since 1947, so,
So
we're very proud of that.
things
too.
seem to be working out well. Well, thank you.
Thank you, it was a pleasure.
Same here.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island. Pezza, take one. Write down the bottle, ladies, and action.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island. It's a very long delay. They have to respond. It's like
One more time. That was amazing. All right, one more time. Write down the bottle.
they say it's amazing 5 minutes after, Mom. It's not
Ready?
convincing.
Write down the pause. Okay, so this is Harvesting Rhode Island, just like a beat in between this and
This.
Yeah.
We have to be paused. Ready?
James
All right,
Earl
ready?
Jones.
And
Yeah, I'm not likely.
action.
This is Harvesting.
Don't walk out.
Mommy!
Come back.
Sorry.
Okay. You almost had it. Ready? Write down the bottle. Smiles, keeping your energy up. Ready, and action.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island.
One more time, just for safety.
Oh, God.
Ready, and action.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island.
I don't know, you keep getting better and better, so we're
Oh
gonna do
yeah,
Lord.
I don't believe it.
ready, and action.
This is Harvesting Rhode Island.
Cut.